Good evening. This is this week's edition of the Starkville Daily News Digital Express. I'm sports editor Danny P. Smith. Robbie Faulk is our high school beat writer. Also covers Mississippi State's women's team. And Robbie, once again, Vic Schaefer's got his women's team rolling. And as of this taping, they play a Thursday night game against LSU at home. But they're back in the top 10 and undefeated in the conference pending tonight's game. Everything's looking fine.
Yeah, first couple of SEC games have been really good for Mississippi State. Of course, that can completely change tonight against LSU. I don't know, but they've really seemed to be locked in the first three ball games. And they came out and beat a bad, albeit bad Florida team. They came out and beat them really badly and just looked really prepared in that ball game and looked a lot like some teams that we've seen the past few years. Then they go on the road and win two ball games at Georgia and Missouri. They had to battle through some adversity against Georgia, and they were struggling to make shots. Georgia had a really good shooting night, and that's always been a tough opponent for Mississippi State, even the teams that have gone to the Final Four. So that was a big win, and then they handled Missouri on the road too. So it's been a really good start to SEC play for Vic Schaefer. I think he's been really pleased with what he's seen after some up and down moments from his young team in non-conference play. To come out and handle business in the first three ball games is big, but the challenges are getting greater now over the next few weeks, starting tonight against LSU and, of course, on Monday night against South Carolina and what's going to be a top 10 game.
All right, some really big games coming up for them. Of course, you have some new faces like Jessica Carter and Rakia Jackson and some others. That you have some like Chloe Bibby and some of those that's been around a while, but it's pretty much a young team that Vic Schaefer is molding into. And if you look at the future, it's looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, Maya Taylor's been here for 3 years, but this is her first year as a starter and only her second year to play. Jessica Carter and Chloe Bibby are pretty much 2-year players. Bibby didn't play just a ton her first year, and then last year she was out for most of the season. So, I mean, you're talking about a very, very young team in every respect. So it's been some challenging times for them, but this is a very talented team. So you'd much rather have talent if it's going to be young players. So right. I think there's a lot to work with for Vic Schaefer.
Right. And just touch on the men briefly. I know you're concentrating on the women's team, but they got a very good win against a win they needed against a Missouri team. It's they would not have wanted to go 0-4 out of the gates, and they get another home game on Saturday against Georgia, another winnable game. So if they can take care of business there, things are going to be looking up for them, and they're trying to get back to the tournament. It's going to be tough now because I don't think any bracketology you'll look at doesn't have them in there, but it'll be interesting to see if they can work their way back in that conversation.
Yeah, people were pretty much giving them the benefit of the doubt when they didn't have Nick Weatherspoon, and that was tough for them to not have him in the first few games of non-conference play. But everybody kind of felt like this team was coming together when they went to South Carolina and played some tough competition like Villanova. And, they come back, they lose to New Mexico State in that ball game, and then you start off 0-3 in conference play. You get embarrassed at Alabama. You had a chance to beat LSU, and they win at the last second shot. So it was a really tough start for them, but to come back and beat Missouri like they did and just handled them from start to finish in that ball game was big. Now you have to build on that. If you want to get back in the tournament conversation, you just have to win games. Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's not about, who you play, it's about who you beat. So they're going to have to win some ball games down the stretch. Georgia would be a good start. That's a team that's beaten some good teams. So they should be a good opponent for the Bulldogs.
At least hold serve at home, because if you can win your home games, break even in the league, that'll give you a better opportunity to make postseason play and perhaps the NCAA tournament. Look, now that we've flipped the calendar and we've started a new year, I want to get your thoughts on high school basketball and some of the teams that's impressed you so far. And it's pretty much a lot of the same suspects, like Greg Carter's Starkville High School team and East Webster's teams have competed well at times. I know they've had some tough outings, but you always look at Greg Carter's team first because they seem like they're always winning and are always doing the right things.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He always gets the best out of his team. I've never seen a coach, I've never covered one especially, that it seems like just every year, no matter what he has, he just figures it out. And guys just bounce into their roles, and they really don't have any drop off. And this team is no different. I think they're very capable of competing for a state championship, just like last year's team. You know, Christy Williams is the same way, but she's in a unique spot now where she's just been forced to play very young players. You know, Greg has been gifted guys that have been through the system, and they're seniors. They haven't played a whole lot, but they're seniors and they're ready to roll. Christy is very, very young team, and she's just trying to make it through this year and get those players ready. But they've been competitive too, and they're going to have a chance in their district. And then you look over at Starkville Academy, and I've been really impressed with Coach Bill Ball and what he's doing in his first year. We knew he was going to be a great coach because we've known about him for so long.
Right.
You've known about him a lot longer than I have, being
Watched
a
him
Starkville
play.
guy. So, you know, he did it at Jackson Academy. He coached under Rick Stansbury at Mississippi State. He knows what he's talking about, and I've been really impressed with the progress that they've made at Starkville Academy. And also with East Webster, John Ginn, he does the same thing as Bill Ball does, and that's coach both teams. And his boys' team is down a little bit this year, but his girls' teams are going to have a very good chance of competing for the district championship. So we got some teams that are starting to come up in this area, and it's going to be an exciting January and February.
Yeah, we're coming out of the holidays where there were a lot of holiday tournaments going on, but one coming up this Saturday, the Mid-Mississippi Challenge, that East Webster is going to be a part of that. They're going to have some early games on Saturday, and then Choctaw County will end the day. So if you're in the Ackerman area and have a chance to go by there, you see some good high school basketball. But basketball's ruling the roost now. We've had the Mike Leach hiring that we covered last week pretty extensively and talked about it with Joel Coleman. But and Oak Hill just today hired their new head football coach, Bill Rosenthal. So we'll know more about that in the future. But Robbie, thank you, and we look forward to joining y'all next week for the Digital Express. Have a good evening.